It's official. This isn't just another NFL coaching controversy that'll blow over by next week. We're talking about the most devastating, career-ending scandal in modern professional football history. Roger Goodell just dropped a nuclear bomb that's sending shockwaves through every front office, every locker room, and every sports bar in America. Cleveland Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski has been banned for life. Not suspended, not fined, not given a slap on the wrist. Completely and permanently exiled from the NFL forever. And when you hear the leaked audio that triggered this unprecedented decision, your jaw will hit the floor so hard you'll need medical attention. The leaked recording surfaced yesterday evening like a digital earthquake, and within minutes, it wasn't just trending, it was obliterating social media platforms. We're talking about 47 seconds of pure, unfiltered corruption that exposes a systematic conspiracy so twisted, so deliberately malicious, that even hardened NFL insiders are calling it the most shocking betrayal they've ever witnessed. This audio doesn't just reveal bad coaching decisions or personality conflicts. It exposes a calculated, premeditated plot to destroy a young quarterback's career before it even began. Here's what nobody saw coming. The target of this conspiracy wasn't some veteran troublemaker or locker room cancer. It was Shedeur Sanders, Coach Prime's son, the fifth-round draft pick, who was supposed to represent hope for Cleveland's future. But according to this devastating audio, Kevin Stefanski and his coaching staff weren't just benching Sanders for performance reasons. They were systematically sabotaging him, deliberately suppressing his development, and conspiring to ensure he never got a fair shot at proving himself. The words captured on this recording are so damning, so explicitly corrupt, that legal experts are already questioning whether Sanders has grounds for a massive lawsuit against the organization. Sources close to the NFL Commissioner's office confirm that Roger Goodell personally listened to this audio recording and made the lifetime ban decision within hours, something that has never happened in league history. Multiple insiders are telling us that Goodell was visibly shaken after hearing the evidence, immediately consulting with legal counsel and the NFL Players Association before delivering this career-ending verdict. The official statement reads like a death sentence. Kevin Stefanski has been banned for life from all NFL activities. This decision is final and not subject to appeal. When the most powerful man in professional football drops the hammer this decisively, you know the evidence is absolutely nuclear. If you're already hooked by this insanity, smash that hype button, because this story gets 10x more explosive. The internet is collectively losing its mind over this scandal, and we're about to take you behind closed doors to reveal exactly what was said in that recording, who else was involved in this conspiracy, and why this decision is sending panic through NFL front offices nationwide. The comment section is already going wild with theories, and trust me, the truth is more twisted than anything you could imagine. Let's rewind to the beginning, because this story starts way before any leaked audio or lifetime bans. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just another draft pick when Cleveland selected him in the 5th round. This kid carries the legendary Sanders name, the son of Dion, Coach Prime Sanders, one of the most electrifying athletes in sports history. When your father is a Hall of Fame cornerback who dominated both NFL and MLB, expectations aren't just high, they're stratospheric. Shedeur had already proven himself at Colorado, leading one of the most dramatic college football turnarounds in recent memory under his father's coaching. The Browns organization publicly celebrated the Sanders selection, with owner Jimmy Haslam calling it a franchise-changing moment and general manager Andrew Berry praising Shedeur's exceptional leadership qualities and game-changing potential. Kevin Stefanski himself stood at the podium during draft weekend, telling reporters that Sanders represented the future of Cleveland football and promising that the young quarterback would receive every opportunity to compete for the starting position. These weren't casual comments, they were public commitments that would later make the leaked audio even more devastating. But behind the scenes, a completely different narrative was unfolding. Multiple sources familiar with the Browns' training camp operations are now revealing that from day one, there were subtle signs that something wasn't right. Shedeur Sanders was receiving limited first-team repetitions despite outperforming veteran Dillon Gabriel in practice sessions. When Sanders would have exceptional performances during scrimmages, including one legendary practice where he threw 3 touchdown passes in red zone drills, he would mysteriously receive 0 first-team snaps the following week. Here's where the character dynamics get absolutely fascinating. Kevin Stefanski built his reputation as an offensive innovator, a coach who could maximize quarterback potential and create dynamic game plans. He won Coach of the Year honors just 2 seasons ago, leading Cleveland to playoff success that had fans believing in a bright future. But insiders are now suggesting that Stefanski's ego couldn't handle the pressure of developing a high-profile rookie whose success might overshadow his own coaching achievements. The Sanders name carries enormous weight in football circles, and some believe Stefanski felt threatened by the attention and expectations surrounding the young quarterback. Dillon Gabriel, the 3rd-round selection who was supposed to compete with Sanders for the backup position, became an unwitting pawn in this conspiracy. Gabriel is a talented quarterback in his own right, with solid college credentials and a professional approach to the game. But according to the leaked audio, Gabriel was receiving preferential treatment not because of his superior performance, but because Stefanski and his staff viewed him as more controllable, less likely to challenge their authority or attract unwanted media attention. The timeline of events leading to this crisis reads like a slow-motion disaster movie. Training camp opened with Sanders and Gabriel supposedly competing on equal footing, but veteran players quickly noticed the disparity in opportunities. One anonymous offensive lineman later told reporters, "We all knew what was happening. Shedeur would light up practice, then Dillon would get the first-team reps the next day." It didn't make sense from a football perspective. The coaching staff explained these decisions as developmental strategy and competitive evaluation, but players weren't buying it. Preseason games became even more telling. When Gabriel started the opener despite Sanders' superior camp performance, eyebrows raised throughout the organization. Sanders' limited playing time was carefully managed to minimize his opportunities for standout performances, while Gabriel received extended drives with the first-team offense. The media coverage focused on the healthy competition between the 2 quarterbacks, but behind closed doors, veterans were questioning the coaching staff's decision-making process. The breaking point came during a team meeting 3 weeks ago, when Stefanski allegedly made comments that would later be captured on the devastating audio recording. Sources suggest that several coaching staff members were present, including offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and potentially general manager Andrew Berry. What was said in that room would ultimately destroy Stefanski's career and expose a level of organizational dysfunction that shocked even cynical NFL observers. The first warning signs everyone missed were hiding in plain sight, but the mainstream media was too focused on surface-level storylines to dig deeper. When Sanders posted cryptic social media messages about staying patient and trusting the process, fans interpreted them as typical rookie motivation. When veteran players began subtly supporting Sanders in interviews, praising his work ethic and leadership qualities, it seemed like normal teammate encouragement. But these were actually distress signals from players who witnessed the systematic suppression firsthand. Local Cleveland media personalities started noticing inconsistencies in Stefanski's explanations for roster decisions, but they attributed them to typical coaching secrecy rather than deliberate deception. When Sanders' father, Coach Prime, made carefully worded comments about trusting the organization to do right by my son, it seemed like parental support rather than a warning shot. Even NFL analysts who questioned the Browns' quarterback development strategy assumed it was simply conservative coaching rather than malicious conspiracy. But here's where it gets absolutely nuclear. The leaked audio recording that destroyed Kevin Stefanski's career wasn't some accidental pocket dial or hidden recording device. Multiple sources are telling us this was a deliberate whistleblowing operation by someone inside the Browns organization who became so disgusted by what they witnessed that they risked their own career to expose the truth. The 47-second recording captures Stefanski's voice, unmistakably discussing the Sanders situation, with what appears to be offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey and potentially other coaching staff members. Listen to these exact words that ended a coaching career. "We can't let him take over this team. If Shedeur plays, the veterans will revolt. We keep him benched no matter what." But that's not even the most damaging part. Stefanski allegedly continues. "Jimmy wants his guy starting fine, But we control practice reps. We control game plans. We control everything that matters. Sanders can be QB1 on paper, while Gabriel gets real preparation. The calculated nature of these statements is absolutely chilling. This wasn't emotional frustration or heat-of-the-moment commentary. This was systematic, premeditated player suppression. Another voice, allegedly Ken Dorsey, responds with equally devastating support. Exactly. We give Sanders scrimmage work against practice squad. Gabriel gets first-team reps during install periods. Media won't notice the difference. Ownership sees Sanders' name atop the depth chart. Everyone's happy except the kid. The casual, almost gleeful tone of these conversations reveals a coaching staff that viewed player manipulation as a game, completely disregarding the human cost of their actions. The detailed breakdown of this shocking truth goes even deeper than the surface-level audio reveals. Legal experts who've analyzed the recording are pointing out that this represents potential breach of contract, hostile work environment creation, and deliberate interference with a player's professional development. Sports attorney Daniel Wallach immediately tweeted his analysis. This isn't just unethical coaching. This could constitute actionable fraud. Sanders signed with Cleveland based on promises of fair competition and development opportunities. If this audio is authentic, he has grounds for significant legal action. The recording also exposes the sophisticated nature of this conspiracy. These weren't coaches making impulsive decisions based on practice performance or game situations. They had developed a systematic approach to maintaining the illusion of fair competition while ensuring predetermined outcomes. The reference to ownership seeing Sanders' name atop the depth chart reveals that they were actively deceiving Jimmy Haslam and the front office while sabotaging the player they were supposed to be developing. Immediate reactions and fallout began within minutes of the audio surfacing on social media. The anonymous Twitter account that posted the recording saw it explode across platforms faster than any NFL story in recent memory. Retweets multiplied exponentially, quote, tweets generated thousands of comments instantly, and Reddit threads accumulated tens of thousands of responses within hours. The hashtag number BANS Stefanski reached #1 trending topic within 90 minutes, while number Free Shedeur followed closely behind. Cleveland Browns fans experienced emotional whiplash, unlike anything in franchise history. Supporters who had defended Stefanski's quarterback decisions suddenly felt betrayed and manipulated. One prominent Browns podcaster immediately tweeted, told everyone. Stefanski sabotaged this kid from day one. Fire him, ban him. Remove him from football forever. The anger wasn't just about poor coaching decisions, it was about systematic deception that had fooled an entire fan base. National media personalities erupted with unprecedented fury. ESPN interrupted regular programming for breaking news coverage, with Stephen A. Smith appearing visibly outraged during an emergency broadcast. His commentary became instantly viral. This is bigger than football. Kevin Stefanski wasn't just a bad coach, he was a liar. He tried to rob Shedeur Sanders, the kid who brings ratings, excitement, and hope, of his rightful spot. And now he's done, finished, out of the NFL forever. Social media explosion analysis reveals the unprecedented scope of public outrage. Within the first evening alone, the Browns scandal generated over 2 million tweets, making it one of the most discussed NFL stories in social media history. The emotional intensity wasn't just from Browns fans. This story resonated with anyone who'd ever felt cheated, manipulated, or denied fair opportunities. Comments sections became digital battlegrounds between those celebrating Stefanski's downfall and others questioning whether lifetime bans were appropriate for coaching decisions. Your hype points are literally helping us fund more investigations like this. Hit that button if you want us to keep digging deeper, because what we've revealed so far is just the tip of the iceberg. The audio recording that ended Stefanski's career has opened floodgates of additional evidence, witness testimony, and behind-the-scenes revelations that paint an even darker picture of organizational dysfunction. The internet turned into detectives the moment that audio hit social media, and what they uncovered makes the original recording look like child's play. Amateur investigators started pulling up every Browns practice report, every depth chart decision, every press conference comment from the past 6 months, looking for patterns that would support or contradict the leaked audio. What they found was a systematic trail of evidence that corroborated every allegation in that devastating 47-second recording. Reddit users created detailed spreadsheets tracking Sanders' practice repetitions versus Gabriel's, using information from beat reporters and social media posts from training camp. The data revealed exactly what the audio suggested. Sanders consistently outperformed Gabriel in measurable metrics but received significantly fewer first-team opportunities. One particularly damning analysis showed that after Sanders' 3-touchdown performance in red zone drills, he received 0 first-team snaps for the following 5 practice sessions, while Gabriel got extensive work with the starting offense. Multiple insider sources and leaked evidence began surfacing within hours of the original audio release. A former Browns equipment manager, speaking on condition of anonymity, revealed that coaching staff meetings had become increasingly secretive over the past month, with certain discussions moved to private offices rather than the usual conference rooms. They knew something was up, the source claimed. Stefanski started having conversations behind closed doors that he'd never done before. It felt like they were planning something they didn't want anyone else to hear. Even more explosive evidence emerged from team personnel who witnessed the systematic suppression firsthand. One anonymous offensive coach revealed that game plans were deliberately designed to minimize Sanders' strengths, his mobility, improvisation skills, and deep ball accuracy, while maximizing Gabriel's more traditional pocket passing abilities. It wasn't about putting the best player on the field, the source explained. It was about controlling the narrative and maintaining power structures that benefited certain coaches. Documents obtained by investigative reporters show email exchanges between coaching staff members discussing Sanders' management strategies and developmental timelines that had nothing to do with football performance. These communications, while carefully worded to avoid explicit admission of wrongdoing, reveal a coordinated effort to limit Sanders' opportunities while creating plausible explanations for media consumption. The most damaging evidence came from practice footage that somehow made its way to social media. Video clips showing Sanders making spectacular plays during scrimmages, followed by him standing on the sidelines during first-team periods, created visual proof of the systematic suppression described in the leaked audio. These weren't isolated incidents. They represented a clear pattern of deliberate player mismanagement. Behind the scenes, power struggles were apparently raging within the Browns organization for weeks before the audio leak. Sources close to the front office reveal that General Manager Andrew Berry had begun questioning Stefanski's quarterback development decisions, particularly after receiving positive reports about Sanders' performance from scouts and position coaches. The tension between Berry and Stefanski allegedly reached a breaking point during a heated meeting 2 weeks ago, where Berry demanded explanations for the disparity between Sanders' practice performance and playing time allocation. Jimmy Haslam, the Browns owner who had publicly championed the Sanders selection, was reportedly growing frustrated with the lack of progress in the quarterback competition. Insiders claim Haslam had specifically instructed the coaching staff to give Sanders every opportunity to compete for the starting position, making Stefanski's systematic suppression not just unethical, but directly contradictory to ownership directives. The power struggle extended beyond just quarterback decisions. Veteran players had begun questioning Stefanski's leadership, with several team captains allegedly approaching Berry privately to express concerns about the coaching staff's handling of the Sanders situation. These conversations, while not directly leading to the audio leak, created an atmosphere of distrust and suspicion that made the eventual whistleblowing almost inevitable. Financial and legal implications revealed through this investigation are staggering beyond anything the NFL has previously encountered. Stefanski's contract, guaranteed through 2026 with approximately $23 million remaining, becomes a massive legal battleground. The Browns organization is likely arguing for cause termination, which would eliminate their payment obligations, while Stefanski's legal team will claim the lifetime ban represents league action rather than organizational termination, meaning guarantees should remain valid. But the financial implications extend far beyond coaching contracts. Shedeur Sanders and his representatives are reportedly consulting with high-profile sports attorneys about potential lawsuits against the Browns organization for breach of contract, hostile work environment, and deliberate interference with professional development. Legal experts suggest that damages could reach tens of millions of dollars if Sanders can prove that systematic suppression damaged his career prospects and earning potential. But that's not even the most shocking part of this unfolding scandal. New evidence has emerged that suggests the conspiracy against Shedeur Sanders wasn't limited to just Kevin Stefanski and his immediate coaching staff. Multiple sources are now confirming that this systematic suppression had tentacles reaching throughout the Browns organization, potentially involving front office personnel, veteran players, and even external influences that nobody saw coming. The evidence we're about to show you is so damning, you need to hype this video to help us expose the truth that powerful people want buried. Because what we've discovered goes beyond simple coaching bias or personality conflicts. We're talking about a coordinated effort that may have involved financial incentives, career protection schemes, and power dynamics that extend far beyond the Cleveland Browns organization. New evidence emerges from the most unexpected source, Dillon Gabriel himself. According to multiple insiders, Gabriel has been cooperating with NFL investigators, providing testimony that corroborates the systematic nature of Sanders' suppression. Sources close to Gabriel reveal that he was uncomfortable with the preferential treatment he received, particularly after witnessing Sanders' superior performance in practice sessions. Dillon knew he wasn't earning his opportunities, one source explained. He felt guilty about the situation but didn't know how to address it without destroying his own career prospects. Even more explosive is the revelation that certain veteran players were allegedly incentivized to support Gabriel over Sanders through unofficial team leadership structures. Anonymous sources suggest that some veterans received assurances about roster security and contract extensions in exchange for publicly supporting the coaching staff's quarterback decisions. This creates a web of complicity that extends far beyond the coaching staff captured in the original audio recording. The most nuclear revelation involves potential gambling connections that nobody anticipated. Federal investigators are reportedly examining whether betting interests influenced the systematic suppression of Sanders, whose high-profile name and explosive playing style could significantly impact game outcomes and betting lines. While no direct evidence has been confirmed, the systematic nature of his suppression has raised red flags among investigators who specialize in sports integrity violations. Key players' desperate responses reveal the panic spreading throughout the organization as the full scope of this conspiracy becomes clear. Kevin Stefanski's representatives have issued carefully worded statements promising legal challenges against the NFL's lifetime ban, but sources close to his legal team suggest they're primarily focused on damage control rather than overturning the decision. The audio evidence is simply too damning to dispute effectively. Ken Dorsey, whose voice allegedly appears in the leaked recording, has been placed on administrative leave pending the completion of the NFL's investigation. Sources suggest Dorsey is cooperating fully with investigators, potentially providing evidence about the systematic nature of the conspiracy in exchange for reduced penalties. His cooperation could expose additional layers of organizational dysfunction that haven't been revealed publicly. General Manager Andrew Berry faces the most precarious position of anyone in the organization. If investigators determine that Berry was aware of the systematic suppression or failed to intervene when presented with evidence, his job security evaporates instantly. Berry has released carefully crafted statements claiming ignorance of any conspiracy, but legal experts suggest his communications records are being scrutinized intensively by NFL investigators. Public opinion shifts dramatically as each new revelation emerges. Browns fans who initially supported Stefanski are now demanding accountability, not just from the coaching staff, but from the entire organization. Season ticket holders are reportedly organizing boycotts and demanding refunds, while corporate sponsors are quietly reassessing their relationships with the franchise. The financial implications of this scandal extend far beyond coaching contracts and legal settlements. This is the kind of content that changes industries. Show your support by hyping this video so more people see what's really happening. The ripple effects of this scandal are already being felt throughout the NFL, with other organizations conducting internal reviews of their own quarterback development programs and player treatment policies. This isn't just about Kevin Stefanski or the Cleveland Browns anymore. The lifetime ban and systematic suppression revelations have triggered a league-wide examination of coaching, accountability, player protection protocols, and organizational transparency that's sending shockwaves through every NFL front office. Commissioner Roger Goodell's unprecedented decision has established a new standard for coaching conduct that's forcing every organization to reevaluate their internal practices and power structures. Industry-wide panic and changes are already being implemented as teams scramble to avoid similar scandals. Multiple sources confirm that at least 6 NFL organizations have initiated internal reviews of their coaching practices, player development programs, and communication protocols. The NFL Players Association has announced plans to propose collective bargaining agreement modifications addressing player suppression, coaching accountability, and organizational transparency requirements. Agent communities are responding aggressively to the Sanders situation by demanding additional contractual protections for their clients. Several prominent player representatives are reportedly requiring specific developmental opportunity guarantees, playing time arbitration clauses, and independent coaching evaluation mechanisms in new contracts. The precedent established by Stefanski's lifetime ban has fundamentally altered the power dynamic between coaches and players, creating new leverage for athlete representation. Legal experts throughout the sports industry are analyzing the implications of Goodell's decision for future coaching accountability cases. The lifetime ban for systematic player suppression establishes a precedent that could apply to various forms of coaching misconduct, from playing time manipulation to developmental interference. Sports law firms are already advising coaching clients about the new standards and potential legal exposure created by the Sanders case. Other celebrities and figures affected by this scandal extend far beyond the immediate Browns organization. Coach Prime, Shedeur's legendary father, has maintained public silence while reportedly working behind the scenes with legal representatives and NFL officials to ensure his son receives appropriate compensation and career protection. Sources suggest that Deion Sanders' influence within football circles played a significant role in the rapid investigation and decisive action taken by Commissioner Goodell. The scandal has also impacted other high-profile coaching figures who face similar allegations of player favoritism or developmental interference. Several veteran coaches are reportedly consulting with legal counsel about potential exposure, while others are proactively implementing new transparency measures to avoid similar accusations. The coaching fraternity, traditionally protective of its members, has been notably silent about Stefanski's situation, suggesting widespread concern about the precedent established by his lifetime ban. Media personalities and NFL analysts who previously defended Stefanski's coaching decisions are now facing credibility questions about their coverage of the Sanders situation. Several prominent commentators have issued public apologies for dismissing early concerns about systematic suppression, while others are conducting their own investigations into coaching practices they may have overlooked or misrepresented. Cultural and social implications of this scandal extend far beyond professional football into broader conversations about power dynamics, workplace fairness, and institutional accountability. The systematic suppression of a young black quarterback by coaching staff has sparked discussions about racial bias in player evaluation and development, even though the audio evidence suggests the conspiracy was motivated by ego and control rather than racial prejudice. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds for debates about coaching authority versus player rights, with younger fans predominantly supporting stronger player protections, while older audiences express concern about undermining coaching authority. The generational divide reflects broader cultural tensions about accountability, institutional power, and individual rights that extend far beyond sports entertainment. The Sanders case has also highlighted the unique pressures faced by children of famous athletes, who must navigate heightened expectations and scrutiny while developing their own professional identities. Mental health advocates are using this situation to discuss the psychological impact of systematic suppression on young athletes and the importance of organizational support systems for player development. Where everyone stands now reads like a post-apocalyptic organizational chart. Kevin Stefanski has been permanently exiled from the NFL, joining an exclusive list of individuals whose actions were deemed so egregious that lifetime banishment represented the only appropriate response. His legal team is preparing multiple lawsuits challenging the commissioner's authority and seeking financial compensation, but legal experts suggest these efforts face significant obstacles given the audio evidence and witness testimony supporting the ban. Shedeur Sanders has finally been named the undisputed starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, but sources close to the young player suggest he's processing the situation with mixed emotions. While vindicated by the investigation's findings, Sanders reportedly feels that earning the position through scandal rather than pure performance creates a hollow victory that doesn't reflect his preferred path to success. Jim Schwartz, promoted from defensive coordinator to interim head coach, faces the enormous challenge of rebuilding organizational culture while preparing for the regular season. His straightforward approach and veteran leadership experience provide stability, but the task of integrating Sanders into the offense while managing ongoing media scrutiny represents one of the most difficult coaching situations in recent NFL history. Latest developments and updates continue emerging daily as the investigation expands and legal proceedings develop. The NFL has announced an ongoing examination of Brown's organizational practices, front office awareness, and systemic issues that may have enabled Stefanski's behavior. Andrew Berry remains employed as general manager, but faces intense scrutiny regarding his knowledge of and response to the systematic suppression. Federal investigators are reportedly expanding their inquiry beyond the immediate coaching conspiracy to examine potential gambling connections, financial incentives, and other integrity violations that may have influenced the Sanders situation. While no additional charges have been filed, sources suggest the investigation could reveal additional layers of misconduct that haven't been publicly disclosed. The Browns organization is implementing comprehensive reforms, including new player advocacy protocols, coaching accountability measures, and transparency requirements designed to prevent similar scandals. Jimmy Haslam has personally apologized to Sanders and his family, while promising organizational changes that prioritize player development and fair competition above all other considerations. Ongoing legal and professional consequences continue multiplying as the full scope of this scandal becomes clear. Stefanski's lifetime ban has triggered a cascade of legal challenges, financial disputes, and professional ramifications that could take years to resolve completely. His coaching career, once considered among the NFL's brightest, has been permanently destroyed by 47 seconds of audio that exposed systematic corruption and player abuse. Ken Dorsey's administrative leave could become permanent termination depending on the investigation's findings regarding his role in the conspiracy. Other coaching staff members are reportedly cooperating with investigators while seeking new employment opportunities, as their association with the scandal has damaged their professional reputations throughout the league. We're about to reveal the most shocking part, but first, if this expose has blown your mind, give it the hype it deserves. The legal battles, organizational reforms, and industry-wide changes triggered by this scandal represent just the beginning of a transformation that could reshape how the NFL handles coaching accountability and player protection for decades to come. What's coming next in this unprecedented scandal promises to be even more explosive than what we've already witnessed. Legal experts predict that Shedeur Sanders' potential lawsuit against the Browns organization could result in one of the largest settlements in NFL history, potentially reaching tens of millions of dollars in damages for systematic suppression and career interference. The precedent established by such a settlement would fundamentally alter how organizations handle player development and coaching accountability. The NFL's ongoing investigation is expected to reveal additional evidence of systematic misconduct that extends beyond the immediate coaching conspiracy. Sources suggest that federal investigators are examining communications records, financial transactions, and organizational practices that could expose a broader pattern of player manipulation and institutional corruption. These revelations could trigger additional lifetime bans, organizational penalties, and league-wide policy changes that reshape professional football's power structures. Commissioner Roger Goodell's decisive action in the Stefanski case has established new standards for coaching conduct that will influence disciplinary decisions for years to come. Future cases involving player suppression, developmental interference, or systematic misconduct, will be measured against the precedent established by this lifetime ban, creating a new era of coaching accountability that prioritizes player rights and organizational transparency. The Browns organization faces a critical period of rebuilding that extends far beyond replacing coaching staff. The franchise must restore credibility with fans, players, and the broader NFL community while implementing systemic changes that prevent similar scandals. Success in this rebuilding effort could establish Cleveland as a model for organizational reform, while failure could result in lasting damage to the franchise's reputation and competitive prospects. Unresolved mysteries and questions continue multiplying as investigators dig deeper into the systematic nature of Sanders' suppression. The identity of the whistleblower who leaked the damaging audio remains unknown, creating ongoing speculation about internal organizational dynamics and the courage required to expose such corruption. Whether this individual will face retaliation or receive protection for their actions could influence future whistleblowing in professional sports. The full extent of veteran player involvement in the conspiracy remains unclear, with investigators examining whether certain team leaders received incentives for supporting the coaching staff's decisions. These revelations could expose additional layers of organizational dysfunction and complicity that extend throughout the Browns' roster and management structure. Potential future revelations include the possibility of gambling connections, financial incentives, and external influences that may have motivated the systematic suppression of Sanders. Federal investigators' examination of these possibilities could uncover corruption that extends far beyond coaching decisions into areas of sports integrity and criminal misconduct. The long-term impact on Kevin Stefanski's personal and professional life remains to be seen, as his lifetime ban represents not just career termination, but potential financial ruin and lasting reputational damage. His legal challenges to the commissioner's decision could establish important precedents regarding league authority and due process rights, while his personal recovery from this scandal will be closely watched by the football community. This explosive expose represents exactly the kind of investigative content that mainstream media won't touch, the real stories behind the headlines that reveal systematic corruption and institutional failures. Your support through hype points and subscriptions directly funds our ability to conduct these deep investigations and expose the truth that powerful people want buried. The Sanders scandal proves that even in professional sports' highest levels, systematic corruption and player abuse can flourish when accountability mechanisms fail. But it also demonstrates that truth eventually emerges, justice can prevail, and individuals willing to risk everything for what's right can change entire industries. Stay vigilant, keep hyping content that exposes corruption, and remember that this story is far from over. The legal battles, organizational reforms, and industry-wide changes triggered by 47 seconds of leaked audio will continue developing for months and years to come. We'll be here to cover every revelation, every development, and every consequence as this unprecedented scandal continues reshaping professional football forever.